Have you ever considered how a single word or phrase can be interpreted in multiple ways, or how the same set of facts can lead to different outcomes in the courtroom? The concepts of determinacy and indeterminacy offer fascinating insights into these phenomena. Determinacy, as the name suggests, is all about clarity and predictability. It's the realm of the concrete, the precise, and the unambiguous. In the legal world, determinacy is the gold standard for contracts and legislation. It's the clear roadmap that guides parties through their rights and obligations, reducing the likelihood of disputes. When a contract or law is determinate, it leaves little room for interpretation. Its meaning is apparent and predictable. But what happens when things aren't so clear-cut? Enter indeterminacy. Indeterminacy is the polar opposite of determinacy. It's the realm of the unclear, the vague, and the undefined. In law, indeterminacy arises when legal rules or contracts are ambiguous, leaving room for different interpretations. This ambiguity can lead to uncertainty and varying interpretations, making legal outcomes less predictable. For instance, consider a law that prohibits excessive noise. What constitutes excessive may be clear to some, but not to others. This vagueness creates indeterminacy, which can lead to different interpretations and applications of the same law. Scene script, voiceover. Now that we've grasped the concepts of determinacy and indeterminacy, let's delve into the differing views of two prominent legal philosophers, H.L.A. Hart and Ronald Dworkin, on the concept of underdeterminacy. Hart proposed that legal rules are often open-textured, meaning they may not provide determinate answers in all cases. He believed that legal systems could have gaps and that judges must exercise discretion to fill these gaps. This exercise, according to Hart, requires judges to use their own judgment and legal reasoning, which introduces an element of indeterminacy. On the other hand, Dworkin criticized this view. He didn't agree with the idea of underdeterminacy within a legal system. Instead, he proposed a theory of law based on principles. According to Dworkin, judges should decide cases by applying the principles that best fit and justify the legal system as a whole. He rejected the idea that judges have significant discretion in interpreting the law. In Dworkin's view, principles derived from legal principles and policies could guide decision-making, thereby minimizing the element of indeterminacy. In essence, while Hart acknowledged underdeterminacy as a feature of legal systems, Dworkin sought to minimize it through a more principled approach to legal interpretation. These contrasting views highlight the complexities and nuances within the concepts of determinacy and indeterminacy. But as we'll see in the next scene, these concepts are not mutually exclusive. Instead, they often interact in interesting and unexpected ways. In Scene 3, titled The Role of Indeterminacy, we delve deeper into the concepts of determinacy and indeterminacy. Though they appear to be direct contrasts, they essentially reflect two aspects of the same principle. Both significantly influence the construction of our legal framework. Determinacy brings forth lucidity and anticipation, thereby facilitating individuals and corporations in strategizing their moves and making enlightened choices. Contrarily, indeterminacy introduces elements of adaptability and flexibility, embracing a variety of scenarios and interpretations that might not have been considered during the formulation of a law or agreement. The equilibrium between determinacy and indeterminacy, however, is fragile. An excess of determinacy can result in inflexibility and unjust consequences when the law or agreement overlooks unique situations. On the other hand, an overabundance of indeterminacy can induce doubt and instability, complicating the understanding of legal rights and responsibilities for concerned parties. Scene 4. The interplay of clarity and ambiguity. In conclusion, understanding the concepts of determinacy and indeterminacy can provide valuable insights into the nature of language, law, and interpretation. These concepts remind us that our world is not always black and white, and that the interplay of clarity and ambiguity shapes our understanding and application of the law. So the next time you encounter a legal document or a piece of legislation, remember, it's not just about what's written on the page, but also how it's interpreted and applied. Voiceover. While determinacy, indeterminacy, and underdeterminacy each have their merits, they also have their critics. Let's delve into some of the criticisms associated with these concepts. Firstly, determinacy is often criticized for its potential to create an overly rigid legal framework. This rigidity may fail to address unique or unforeseen circumstances, thus limiting the adaptability of the law to changing societal needs. Secondly, indeterminacy, despite its flexibility, is not without its faults. An excessively vague or ambiguous legal system could lead to inconsistency and unpredictability, which in turn undermines the rule of law. Lastly, underdeterminacy, though it allows for judicial discretion, introduces uncertainty into legal outcomes. Critics argue that this could potentially lead to arbitrary decisions, and the reliance on judicial discretion to fill gaps in the law may undermine legal predictability and equality before the law. In summary, critics highlight potential drawbacks associated with legal determinacy, indeterminacy, and underdeterminacy. They emphasize the need for a balanced legal system that addresses both the clarity required for fairness and the flexibility necessary for justice. So as we continue to explore and understand these concepts, remember, it's not just about the laws themselves, but also how they're interpreted and applied in real-life situations.